Hello everybody and welcome back to Board Table Talk. This is the first episode this school year. Just to remind you all, Board Table Talk, we talk about the previous month's board meetings. So today we are filming in August. We're talking about August work session and August board meeting. We're also obviously going to talk about what happened over the summer. I'm here with Board President Erica Hermans. Erica, welcome back to the studio.
Hi, Andrew. It's wonderful to be back, although I will be candid, it was far too short this summer.
Yes, it goes by very fast.
Yes.
Did you have a nice summer?
I did. Thank you.
Good,
Stayed
good.
local, a lot of trips to the beach, but very relaxing, and that's what it's intended for.
Awesome, that's good. So as a district, I know we were busy over summer and the board didn't meet. Can you tell us a little bit about why we don't meet in July?
Yeah. So you know that heading into June, there are a lot of board meetings and a lot of discussions as it relates to the budget. So a lot of the work that, you know, if you tune into board meetings that happen in the, especially in the spring and leading into year end, it kind of drops off come June and July. And so, you know, we want to make sure that we address the needs of the district, but, you know, if there's no need to meet, we're of course not going to be doing that. So one of the things that we do on the board is we give the administration the approval, because a lot of what happens over the summer is mostly hiring and personnel. So usually the way it works is if the administration is going to come forward with a hire, we would then approve that at a meeting. So as opposed to just having a meeting for purposes of approving hires, we give the administration the authorization to hire, and then we subsequently look to vote on them in August. So from a board meeting perspective, that's why we don't usually hold board meetings in July, but I will say that there's a lot of work that happens over the summer from a board perspective. So for example, some of the things that I've been involved with is attending project oversight meetings for Spring City. Mr. Jackson and I, you know, are still continue to do that throughout June and July, and of course we had a Spring City groundbreaking, which was really exciting.
Yeah, and we'll get into that a little bit, and since we're there, why don't we start with it? I'm going to talk about what did actually happen over the summer in the district. One of the big things was the Spring City groundbreaking. It was a very cool ceremony, and I'll put up some footage here so everyone can see, but talk a little bit from it from a board's perspective.
I mean, it was very moving. You know, I have witnessed firsthand what the Spring City elementary school means to the Springford community and our Spring City residents in particular. And so to be there and to witness staff coming out, some of the students coming out, as well as just hearing words from Mrs. Troy, the school principal there, about what this is going to do to enhance the experience at Spring City, because, you know, I've said it before, you know, I think that this, in my opinion, I'm not speaking for the board, but in my opinion, is a very long overdue project in that, you know, it's bringing a couple of things to Spring City that hasn't, you know, been the case. So for example, we're bringing parity to the way that we instruct our students in the areas of music and art and RamQuest. They did not have a dedicated room like all the other elementary schools. So to be able to offer that to them, in addition to making sure that we have the capacity in Spring City to accommodate small group instruction, large group instruction spaces, and to really be forward thinking with what does this capacity mean for the future of Springford in terms of being able to offer, you know, down the road. Again, I'm one person and I don't speak for the board, but to be able to offer programs like full day kindergarten at Springford, I mean, I just think that this groundbreaking really was just an opportunity to reflect on all the work that has led up to the votes.
Yeah, and it was awesome to see a lot of the community, a lot of the staff members did show up that morning. And Spring City looks a little different right now, so I'm sure it was exciting for them to see what's actually happening at the building, which is pretty much demo right now, and I think they're continuing on that.
And we have our students at Spring City that are this year in the good hands of our UPE staff, so they're off to a wonderful start.
Yes, I've heard all good things. So some other things happened over the summer. The Blue and Gold Golf Outing, that supports the Educational Foundation. This was my first year actually playing in it, and I had...
How did you do?
We did very, very well.
No,
we didn't
I feel
win
like
anything,
are you being honest?
We shot a 67, which is a very low score, but there were some other people who got lower than that. So I won a Piazza Presto gift card, so I'm very excited take the wife to dinner one night at Piazza Presto,
Okay.
which is amazing. But we played well. I played with Mr. Orsini with food service, and he's fun to play with.
Okay.
So that was a great outing.
Yeah, and for a great cause,
Yes.
right? So when we talk about what the Educational Foundation does in terms of being able to offer scholarships to our students, teacher grants for very worthy causes. I mean, this is the big summer event, but
Right.
we're always working throughout the year on the Education Foundation to make Springford a better place for our community.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. It was a very hot day, but it was a lot of fun. Parent Square. I know we talked about that previously. We got to train a lot of our 12-month staff. Ms. Crew was out continuously working with our 12-month staff and getting all the syncing over, getting all
Yeah.
the information correct, so that the beginning of the school year could start off very well, and so far it has.
Good. I mean, listen, I think change is hard in general when you're switching technology platforms, but I have to put a plug in because I have really, as a parent, enjoyed the Parent Square app. So in the past, I was always just used to looking in my inboxes for emails, and sometimes that's hit or miss. Like sometimes they go to spam, they don't. But the Parent Square app is a game changer. So if you don't have it, I think you should download it.
Yes, I would agree with that as someone from the communications department.
What are you laughing? You're gonna have
Because
to.
I plug it. I love plugging it. I use it. I use it all the time. I love the notifications. It's super easy. I was laughing because that was going to be my plug.
Oh, okay.
ViewSonic project. That started off the beginning of July 1, when everything flipped over. Successful project. I got out to a lot of buildings, was in a lot of classrooms with our AV specialist, Rich Pravetti, who pretty much spearheaded that project. That was a big one this summer, so that went well. I don't know if you've heard anything about it.
Yes, I have, because I chair community relations.
Yes.
So Mr. Pravetti came in the spring to inform us of, the procuring of the panels, and then the installation, and then what it means from a professional development standpoint for our staff. So it sounds like a lot of great work. You said that they were all installed. They're all installed.
Correct.
Are we doing, I'm asking you this question because I seem to remember from spring talking about even putting them in the hallways to some extent. Has that happened?
Yeah, so the ViewSonic does sell their 55-inch monitors that can be mounted in the hallway, and I would love to get them throughout some of our buildings for announcements.
Yeah.
Because
That's
our
great.
announcement system is really outdated, so we want to get that up to date so that students walking through the hallways can see the clubs
Have the
instead of printing
visual.
out the flyers. They'll see
Yeah.
a nice graphic that says, "Hey, RCTV Club's meeting Tuesday at
Yep.
4 p.m."
Yeah.
whatever it is.
People typically are visual learners, and so that's wonderful.
Yeah, update technology as much as we can. Speaking of technology, there was the tech refresh, which is they're ordering new computers, getting into classrooms, checking on everything. And then Chromebook pickup. I believe we saw a Young Hermans at a Chromebook pickup at the 9th grade center.
You would have seen two young Hermans,
Two young
one
Hermans.
at the 5th grade center and one at the 9th grade
Okay,
center.
I was
so
at 9th grade. I didn't get this. Maybe
Yeah.
Mr. Pravetti saw. 5th grade.
it was actually Mr. Catalano who
Oh,
who
wow.
helped us out getting Henry his Chromebook. I am not concerned with my 9th grader. She is a pro when it comes to charging it every night.
Good.
She's going to have to shepherd her little brother a little bit with reminding him and getting him into the habits. It's new, but it's exciting. And again, I think that the ability to offer every student in the district a Chromebook and to make sure that we, again, kind of looking at it from an equity lens, I think is tremendous. So great job to Mr. Catalano, yourself, Mr. Pravetti. I saw a lot of our administrators and administrative assistants helping out as well with district. And it was, something, as I said at the board table, I said it could easily turn into chaos, and it was a well-oiled machine, and it was a great experience.
Kudos to the whole tech team.
Yeah.
And then with curriculum, we had lots of summer professional development and curriculum work. We did run ViewSonic sessions. That's more communications end, but there were professional development sessions throughout the summer that were optional for staff if they would like to have taken some.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not going to speak to all the professional development, but I think a common misconception is that, when it comes time to summer, that staff, take time off. And yes, absolutely, many staff take well-deserved time off, but that's also coupled with preparing for the new school year and engaging in professional development. And that absolutely happens a lot behind the scenes in the months of June, July, and August.
Yeah, and some of those topics, I have them here: research-based math practices, shifts in the science standards and practice, and explicit instruction in writing, and technology integration. And then Dr. Reinheimer also worked with teachers in grade 5 through 8 and algebra to offer professional learning on the new iReady and Reveal resources, and team up with teachers who work to update the curriculum documents. So they're all working all summer, especially with curriculum, getting ready for the new year, new standards coming out. Which is great.
And looking forward to hearing about all of this as we head into committees in September. We didn't have them in August. Again, another reason why our board meeting tends to be a little shorter in August is because we don't have the committee reports that we typically do in the other months. But our first one is going to be next week. It's going to be community relations on Tuesday at 6 o'clock in the district office. So if anyone wants to attend, feel free. I hope to see you there, Zoom or in person.
I will be there.
Of course you will. I look forward to your readout.
And then, speaking of the board, we did move to board docs. Do you want to talk about that at all for the community?
You know, much like the transition to ParentsWare, from a communication standpoint, the board transitioned to board docs, which houses our agendas. And a lot of the neighboring school districts do use this, so it's not unfamiliar to us, you know, especially if you're looking, you know, or you've been a part of another school district and accessed, you know, their policies or attended a meeting. But again, it takes time to get used to. So I think Mr. Jackson was being a bit facetious when he said, I reserve the right to be accommodated here as I learn this new system. And of course, we're going to do that.
Yes.
But my first feeling about it has been very positive, much easier to navigate. And what I love about it is that, you know, for the public and even for the board, you get to be able to see appendices, like kind of built right into the action item. And so it should facilitate, once we get used to the technology, should facilitate a smoother meeting.
Yes. So one topic that I wanted to talk about from the board meeting itself was federal program grants. Can you talk a little bit about what those are and what they provide for the district?
Yeah. So in August, we approved an action item, and the federal grant in particular for this one was curriculum related. So this was really around supporting effective instruction and academic achievement. And, you know, when I think about grants more broadly in the district, you know, attending the many committee meetings that I do, I know that it's top of mind for our administrators to make sure that we're applying for these, you know, to make sure that we can fund these very important initiatives, maybe in a way that's outside of our general budget. So I think about two things, that there are non-competitive grants and that there are competitive grants. So for example, with non-competitive grants, I think about a topic that was raised at the table in the August meeting, which is period products. So there was a question that was raised, I think it was Dr. Wright who asked about it, because they had wanted to know if Spring-Ford had applied for the grant to be able to procure period products in our bathrooms. And the answer that we now have is yes, that Spring-Ford is going to be applying for it to be able to fund the purchase of those products that way. Now, I will say that until that we apply for the grant and until we secure the monies, good news story is that we have clubs, for example, like the Now Club within the high school, that ensures that period products are available to all students. But it's going to be a great thing to know that, you know, we don't need to fundraise for it, or we don't need to be able to seek out donations for it, that the government is supplying that for us. So that's what I would consider like a non-competitive grant, but there are competitive grants that whether it be for special education or safety and security, you know, that where Spring-Ford might be going up against local school districts or even national school districts. And I know that it is very important to our administrators. When we attend committee, we hear them talking about the application process, to be able to submit and to write that grant in a way where we get the best chance of success of attaining monies for very important projects.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that information. Before we move on to our what's next, is there anything you wanted to add about the board meeting that we didn't cover?
About the board meeting? No, I mean, I think that as we head into committees in September, you're going to see that our board meetings are not going to be as sure. I think we had a 40-minute board meeting in August, and that's kind of on the lower end. But as we head into committees, there's going to be a lot more important work of the district that is going to be brought forward. And so, we're going to get right back into it come September.
It's time to get to work. So for some upcoming stuff, Friday, September 6th is our first home football game versus Downingtown East. And our Springford Avidium Club is working with Downingtown East's Avidium Club to put together a mental health awareness night. So they have T-shirts that they're wearing.
Oh, yes.
We have T-shirts, which you have, which you brought here. If you want to hold it up.
Yeah, and then the You Matter.
Yes. So our student section and staff section will be wearing those shirts that night. And we prepared a video that we're going to play on the screen.
Yeah.
And it was a really cool initiative from both schools that, even though they're both competitive teams, we're all in this one thing together, and that's mental health awareness.
Yeah. Competitors on the field, but, working as a community off the field. And mental health awareness, suicide awareness, and just in general, making sure that schools, and I'm not just talking about Springford, but I think public schools in general, like you mentioned, Downingtown East is partnering with us, has an eye on making sure that we're not just preparing our children academically, but also making sure that they are well-rounded and they have the supports they need from a mental standpoint, because we know that it is an issue. It is an issue. So I'm going to look forward to seeing the community come and rally together for a very important cause and to generate some awareness.
Yes. And we look forward to seeing you all out there. And then the following day, September 7th, we have the Royersford Community Day, which we love every year. This year will be special because our new broadcasting teacher will be there with the Major Twos, so everyone can come out and meet the new broadcasting teacher, Mr. Ciccone.
Ciccone, okay.
Mr. Ciccone. But that, we'll probably be there at like 8:30 setting up, but I believe the event's from 10 to 3, rain or shine. So bring your umbrella if it is going to rain. We do have a trailer, which if it's raining, I will probably be in. But come on out. It's a great event. We get to see all sorts of people in the community, welcome them into the trailer, show them what RCTV actually does and what the students actually get to learn. And if they want to put their hands on our equipment, they're more than welcome.
Yeah, that's fun. It's fun to be able to be interviewed or to be able to take a picture with Rowdy the Ram, and then also just see all the small businesses that make up this community and be able to support them. It's a great event.
Yes, it's a wonderful day. Is there any other events or anything you'd like to talk about before I wrap it up here?
Oh my gosh, so many events. I mean, we can talk about this as we head into September. We have homecoming. We're starting all of the fall sports seasons. I was at the marching band preview night on Tuesday. Wow. Saw the middle school. I mean, there's just too much to talk about. So we'll probably save it for September.
Yeah, we'll get back to that in September. Thanks everybody for tuning in today on Board Table Talk. We'll see you in September.